Hey YouTube, it is League Turnoff today, and two really good options. We have Open Great League, but we also have a Great League Remix. And I usually kind of rip the incompetence of Niantic when it comes to these things. But what they actually did this season was they waited with the Great League Remix. They waited to see what was meta this season, and then they put out the thing. So you got like Blastoise with Rollout, you got Lapras with Psywave, you got Sableye with Dazzling Gleam, Critterly with Rock Tomb. Like, these are all very meta Pokemon this season because of the season buff. And usually what they do is like the last seasons, and then you have like 10 Pokemon like Medi who are no longer meta, and it's just kind of a weird remix. So good on them for recognizing. And there is truly just like 20 meta Pokemon here. Blastoise, Wiggly, Marowak, Galarian Weezing, Lapras, Feraligatr, Azumarill, Jumpluff, Sableye, Credilli, Gastrodon, Drapion Superior, Mandibuzz, Talonflame, Malamar, Golisopod, Morpeko, Annihilape, and Clodsire. And that is a very, very good band because these are all very meta Pokemon. So the question is, what does it become after? And what it becomes after is this. So there's still a few things here that are not banned, obviously, because they're only banned 20. Here's a list. So with let me just kind of bring up the info here because it's kind of important. You need to kind of understand what is banned. To a certain extent, what you can do is just kind of like take the top 20 out and the rest of them will kind of fall into place, sort of. But you also kind of just need to be like, okay, what got banned and what does that make better? So like when you look at this list, Mandibuzz as a dark, Sableye as a dark, Malamar as a dark. Now suddenly your ghosts and Wiggly as a normal typing actually too. Now your ghosts have a little more play. So Crysrola, Dusknoir are up there. Dusclops is at number 10. Jelson at 11. But again, it's not just because they're ghosts. It's because they're like strong Pokemon anyways, right? So these Pokemon that I just named were already strong, but then just get like the kind of bump up. I'm actually just going to like, because here's the thing, like Grumpig was like a top 10 anyways because of Psywave and Dynamic Punch Shadow Ball combo. Pangoro, Primeape, I would say are sort of the biggest winners here, right? So just going back to this list, you have like Wiggly as a Fairy Gun, Galarian Weezing as a Fairy Gun, Azumarill as a Fairy Gun, a couple ghosts, like Annihilape is a ghost that resists fighting, although Pangoro would deal with Annihilape. No, it wouldn't because counter would add up. So you have just a bunch of these like dark or ghost Pokemon, not dark Pokemon, but ghost Pokemon that would like resist it. You have Clodsire as a poison, Jumpluff as a flyer. So a lot of things that would resist fighting. So now your fighters get a little bit of a leg up, and these two in particular because they have Pangoro is dark. So can deal with all the ghost at number 1, 2, and 3, and the psychic at number 4, right? So really, Pangoro should be a core breaker in this meta. Because then you look at below, you go down to Diggersby, weak to fighting, go down to Guzzlord, weak to fighting, Grumpig again, Dusclops. So like Pangoro has play against like the top 12, because Jelson's ghost and Ferrite is normal. So Pangoro should be like a pretty strong core breaker in this meta. I would expect to see a healthy dose of it. And then Primeape is one of the best fighters in this meta anyway. So there's that. Diggersby again is the top like 10 Pokemon anyways. It's got bulk, you got the fast move, quick attack, you're normal typing, so you're resisting these ghosts. You got Scorching Sandwich, you get too quick. Like, it's already top meta Pokemon. Guzzlord, I've mentioned 100 times already this season how Guzzlord is underranked at like rank 30 or 40 wherever it is. It's now in the top 10. When you ban those fairies and you ban those darks already, and you have a bunch of ghosts, Guzzlord was already strong in the open meta, and now you just ban a lot of its problems, and you now have a chance to do well against it. The meta. Ferret. Yeah, Ferret, everyone seems to love. And it's another one of those where it's a normal typing, so we need to watch out for the fighters, which Pangoro may have more place, so Ferret may be a little actually trickier to run this time around. But at the same time, again, all those fairies and darks banned where Sucker Punch is resisted, so those are gone. And now you have a bunch of ghosts and stuff, which is Sucker Punch super effective. And then you got your Swift and Trailblaze, which are nice spammy moves. Tiktong, again, it was like a top ranked Pokemon anyways. A Marowak kind of jumped up on this list here. And again, I think it gets in on the ghost plus the water being banned, right? Because this is the first fire. It is a ghost too, so you have the help from everything else I just kind of mentioned, but it is a fire. So now you have your Blastoise, Marowak, Lapras, Feraligatr, Azumarill, Gastrodon, a lot of ground and water Pokemon banned in this meta. Golisopod's a water Pokemon. Clodsire is a ground, right? So you have a lot of the water ground, which is the main meta for the Great League band. So your fires, Marowak there, has a rise up. Corviknight was kind of already high. Carbink got pretty low, but then Carbink stopped having play because everyone was scared of the water ground combo. And if water ground is, a lot of them are banned, it rises up a little bit here, but there is some ground. Case in point, Claydol at 17, Steelix at 18. Yeah, Thunderfang, right? So Thunderfang ground would have been resisted. So if you get out a few of the grounds, you have more play. Thievul, I just went over Thievul in a video the other day on the weekend, actually. So if you want to check out what Thievul's like, Sucker Punch Night Slash again. I sound like a broken record. Just count the ghosts, right? Corsola, Dust Noir, Dusclops. Actually, and count the Psychic, because Grumpig's a Psychic, which you hit super effective. And then there's Jellicent, Marowak, Claydol Psychic as well. So there's all your super effective Sucker Punches, right? So, like I said, Dark should have a lot to play. I expect a healthy dose of Pangoro, Guzzlord, and Thievul. Maybe some Tinkaton out here to deal with that. So yeah, I would expect a lot of Dark is my guess. So let's look at some teams here. I always start with the top ranked Pokemon because I'm like, okay, why are you the top ranked? And not surprising, Corsola's got bulk, it's got some spam, and it's going to have problems with Dark and normal typings. So that should not surprise you. What's the best answer for Dark and normal typings? Primeape. Put in Pangoro too, but Pangoro is also weak to Fighter. Well, then not that matters for Corsola, but Pangoro, if you put in Pangoro, it'd be like neutral Pangoro and bad against Corsola. So like Corsola would be bad against Pangoro. So Primeape is just a better deal with that. And I was looking for third. I'm like, okay, flying types are always going to be a problem for Primeape. Jump Off is banned. Is Talonflame on this list? Corviknight's the other one, but Corviknight's kind of neutral because you're... but I just wanted something that has like fire and ground coverage combo. And Sandslash is the one that had that. But again, double weak to fighting and double weak to fire. And again, we'll have to see how the meta shapes out. But could potentially have some play there. Speaking about Pangoro, I'm like, okay, let's see how dominant you're going to be. And not surprising, right? You're going to lose to fighters. The Medi's on there, where Medi's a psychic fighter. So psychic resists your fighting moves. And then the fighter is going to hit super effective against you. So it's kind of a tough one there. I got Medi on a team. But outside of that, right, with how spam you are, the close combats, which hit so hard, and so many ghosts and stuff, you're going to have a good time. Where your problem's going to be, right, you're going to have problems against other fighters. You're going to have problems against some fairies. So combo that with Dust Noir, because Dust Noir, again, has a lot of good matchups in here. Your darks are your biggest issue, but you have a dynamic punch to deal with that. So still has play there. And then I'm like, oh, this team is very, very glassy. If you go with the Dust Noir Pangoro, you are very glassy. So I was just like, give me some Pokemon that has like sort of neutral matchup and it is bulky. And they gave Swalot, and Swalot's an interesting one because it's a poison type, so it doesn't have a ton of play in the open meta because ground is everywhere, but a lot of the ground are gone. And you have like the Sludge and Ice Beam as your cover moves. So like Sludge with like Galarian Weezing being gone and Clodsire being gone. Toxapex is still in the meta, but you have like Poison for that if you want to have poison coverage. And then you like Ice Beam for your Grass and Flyer coverage. And then you have a Sand Attack fast move, so you got the ground there. So it's a kind of like unique Pokemon, and it has some bulk. So it seemed like a Pokemon that could be worth testing out if you need like a kind of neutralish Pokemon that has some bulk for you. But speaking about Pokemon that has bulk, Diggersby, not surprising, it is very highly ranked. As a normal typing, you should beat most ghosts. The only problem with ghost ones is kind of weird because although you resist the ghost as a normal typing, your fast move is quick attack, which is a normal type, which ghost resists. It's one of those they both resist each other moves type of typings. So your fast move is resisted by ghosts. So the ghosts are not as straightforward as they should be. But you're very spammy, you're bulky, you got Scorching Sands. You're going to water and grass are your main weaknesses, fighting. So you got to kind of cover all those. So first one is Tinkaton because you can resist the grass and you can resist the grass and you do like neutral against the other ones. And then Jellicent was the second cover to cover your like waters. So as you can see, Jellicent down the board there, the dark is the biggest issue, but that's why Ticking Tong is on the list too, to kind of offset your weakness there. So it's still shaping up to be like, again, Pokemon that you see in the open Great League, right? So this is basically Ferret, Grumpig, and I put in Darkspun. This is where you put in like something like Wiggly, but Wiggly's banned, so Darkspun is the next best Charmer in this meta. Ferret, right, is going to have a lot of problems with fighting. Ferret is extremely strong, except problems with fighting. So that's why I put in Grumpig and Darkspun to answer that. Darkspun just straightforward Charmer, so that's straightforward. Grumpig is a Psywave user, so it hits great against something like Primate, but then Pangoro is half dark, which would resist, but then you have the Dynamic Punch. So you have options there to take that out. So basically you can use, I think a lot of these I mean, maybe not Darkspun as a safe swap, but I think Grumpig and Ferret probably both work as safe swaps. Ferret, you know what? Ferret I put a little less as a safe swap in this meta, just because of what I think the prevalence of Pangoro and Primeape are going to be. I expect with, again, just look at the list of Pokemon that would resist counter that are now gone, right? So, I mean, Wiggly wouldn't resist, but like Wiggly would delete you, Galarian Weezing, Azumarill, Sableye. You have a couple. Talonflame is banned, right? So Talonflame's bad. So another Flyer there. Glacepod is Bug. Clodsire 2, right? So there's a lot of things that fighters would have problems with in this meta. So I expect the ones that are still in here, Annihilate is banned, but the ones that are still in here and Primeape and Pangoro to have more play. So you want to cover those if you're running Ferret, which also makes it a little trickier because if you safe swap Ferret into like Pangoro or something, like, ooh, you're in trouble. Although the Swift would chip, but otherwise they're going to destroy you. Speedboat Pokemon that are just so good. Guzzlord. And it's interesting to actually look at the rankings here because now there's a couple other Pokemon that will rise that would otherwise not rise, like Carbink, right? I kind of mentioned on the lead there. Carbink is so scared of all the ground and water in this meta. But with a lot of them banned, Carbink should have some play, which Guzzlord is going to have a lot of trouble with. I still think Guzzlord is great, but maybe a few more fairies and other Pokemon that you need to worry about. So to deal with the fairies, you have Toxapex, and to deal with the, it's either a mixture of like fighter or like kind of like steals, or even steals mostly. You put in Claydol. So I usually crap on Claydol in the open Great League, saying that like between your ground and psychic typing, your weaknesses are in an insane amount. But again, a lot of those weaknesses are banned. So you have, I think, more play in this meta, which you can see kind of by its sim there. And what I like about Claydol in the sim, like I just generally do not like Claydol in the open Great League. Again, you're weak to like 6 typings and 4 of them are main meta typings. But Claydol really only has moves at the same numbers, like 15 for like the Ice Beam and Rock Tomb and Scorching Sands if you want to run that. So there's no real like, maybe there's a bit of bait, like you bait a Rock Tomb to lower their attack, but for the most part it's not bait dependent, whereas some of these other Pokemon, like I love Kanto Ninetales in the open Great League, but like a lot of times you need like a Weather Ball and followed by a bait followed by an Overheat to win, which you don't get that in the sims of that. Marowak, right? You got the Ghost, less water, less ground. So right off the bat, Marowak is a huge winner with the meta that is banned. So Ghost and Psychic out there, you kind of deal with that. Obviously, Dark is an issue, so that's where Pangoro comes in. Dark is going to be one of your biggest issues on Marowak, so Pangoro will beat that. And then I was just looking for a third, and I'm like, this one kind of came up. I was like, what is something that is a bulkier Pokemon and is also like a substitute for something else on a team? And I'm like, okay, Jumpluff's banned. How about Tropius? So there wasn't much more thinking beyond that. And if you actually look at the team, I'll say right now about using this team, like there's no good safe swap on this team. I honestly think Marowak would probably be the best safe swap, but even then it's going to have some problems. So I don't know if I love this actual team, but I wanted to like see how Tropius simmed, because it's got the bulk. I think it's got enough coverage for what is left in this meta. Not a ton of real weaknesses. So I think it'll have play, but maybe not on this team. And lastly, Corviknight here. I want to try out see Corviknight because again, it was a riser with Ting Tong coming up. Okay, but now jump off span and stuff like that, so maybe not as much play. And you can kind of see, I don't love it. I tried using it again, even with Ting Tong, and I did not love it. So these are three Pokemon that I just think like, dude, I think these three Pokemon probably have play in this meta. And it rounds it out with Carbink and Medi. Carbink, because I kind of mentioned like water and ground are banned everywhere. There's still Steel though. You still got like Ting Tong, and then you have Stunfisk as a ground. So there's still like some of your tough answers out there. But outside of that, you could do okay. It's crazy that, I mean, I know you're half rock and fighting resist, so I guess it makes sense you lose to Pangoro and Primate, but it's just a fairy losing. I mean, you're half rock, so it neutralizes it, but a fairy losing to Pangoro is kind of crazy. But that's where Medi comes in. And Medi's got your bulk. It's got, especially with Psycho Cut, that you can get to Dynamic Punch Psychic like pretty quickly in like 14-ish or something like that. Being able to get to that to like have a Psychic for Primate and a Dynamic Punch for Pangoro combo there, it will be very, very strong for coverage. Justin might be a bit of an issue for this team, but you can kind of spam enough with Corviknight and Carbink, and even Medi for Psychic if you can get to it before they get to a Shadow Ball. Oh, well, you probably live a Shadow Ball, honestly. So that is it. So it's this in Open Great League. I think there's like 5 weeks left in the season, so you know there's enough time, but you might want to start pushing. But this, I think it's this and then Open Great League. Or no, wait, no, it's Remix is on again next week. So yeah, I'm trying to remember, but I'll just open it. But I'm almost positive it's actually Ultra League and the Remix next week as well. So I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 5 weeks left. Great League and Great League Remix this week, and then next week is Ultra League and Great League Remix. So we have a Great League Remix again next week. So if you want to send me some battles, you got 2 weeks to showcase this. Plus, it will allow you to kind of get used to a team, right? So if this is the meta for 2 weeks, okay, the Great League Open is on as well right now. Maybe I'll do a teams this afternoon, maybe I won't, but it is on right now, so you have options to play that. But otherwise, this is Great League Remix is on for 2 weeks, so you could just get used to the meta and find out what Pokemon are strong before you not have to play it next week, but it's Ultra League next week. Anyways, that's it. Let me know what you think about the meta. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.